Hello everyone and welcome to Gierok Farms. In today's video we are going to be upgrading the Magnum. We're going to be throwing some nice to have items at it. I know looking at the comment section some of you have wanted a certain item here for a while, so it's some of those those nice to have pretty looking items. So there is use to some of the items I have. So we're going to head down to the other shed, the cold storage shed, and fire up that Magnum and bring it back to the shop here. Thank you all for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the video. Here's the first item we're going to be installing today. This is one of those items where it's more aesthetic than anything. It's a new headliner. Should turn out really sharp. I better put this back in the box before I get it dirty. So I had some time here in between hay and corn silage and decided that the Magnum has proved itself enough to get some of these more nice to have items. So we're going to start tearing out that headliner. And then the other thing that will be nice to have but also beneficial, keep me in the field longer, is we got a set of new lights for it. It says they'll plug and play. We'll see. Hopefully I bought the right ones, but for a tractor that looks this nice and the paint's in good shape, we can't be having these yellow lights that are on there. Put some nice new LEDs on it. We got some work to do this afternoon, so I'm going to start in on that headliner first before I get all dirty, and then we'll move on to the lights. Let's try not to lose any pieces with this project. It's going to be a lot of small hardware here. And no, I don't know what I'm doing. We're trying to figure out here as we're going. Maybe I'm taking apart more than I need. Oh, maybe this ticket here are just these guys. Oh yeah, that was the ticket there.
Thing? Yep. Get up here. You guys must spend some money on that thing.
Yeah, it's an investment.
I suppose if you want them to look as good as the John Deere's, you got to fix it up a little bit.
Well, I figured you'd be able to work night shift now with the new lights, and I'll just work the days.
Yeah. That's right, because I don't see that good as I used to. So now I need better lights.
We'll see how they look. They're the cheaper version, but I think they'll turn out.
Then I could get a day job if I could work at night on farming.
Yeah. Since Dad's here, we'll take a break quick. He was talking about the stuff he was fixing yesterday. We didn't show a lot of this during the chopping videos, but this tractor had a hydraulic leak, and then this chopper blew a hydraulic line, or a fitting. Yeah, we had a fitting blow it.
So I bought this new one, 02, and then this chopper probably was on the lot for a few years. So you get 25 years old. I mean,
the one that lifts the head, which it just blew the fitting off. So we had this repaired by a local shop, but it's kind of like if you don't use their hose, the fittings they're not as good, or it may not be as good. So anyway, minor details. So he had to chop. He couldn't lift the head going around corners. Just had to be careful. And then I noticed yesterday here, I was able to get enough hose out of this. This is for the widenings. and I had some hose coiled up there. So I'm gonna have to take that hose out of there and get a connection put over here because it's dripping there already. So that'll be next, you know. But there we can lock this one in. You know, we can widen it out and just put it in where we can just keep it there. So we could live without it if that one went bad. And then I got an electrical issue that's shifting from forward to reverse. And I don't know why, because when I put this extra applicator on here a few weeks back, then I was, you know, messing with the wiring a little bit. So I'm hoping it's just a switch up there, because I took everything apart back here to get to this solenoid stuff, and that all works. I put a battery there and that all works. It seems to take forever just to figure out where the problem is before you can actually get to the bottom of it.
Yep, diagnosing. That's
yeah,
a big part of
it can be quite frustrating. And then here, I've never had these apart before. Now I got this all washed up yesterday because there was oil everywhere. So I took the top one off, then I took it into my John Deere shop, and these guys are pretty good about trying to tell me what, you know, they sold me a kit for like 30 bucks and to put inside here. These O-rings in here, because it was only leaking out of the bottom too. The top one didn't seem to be leaking out of it. But what I didn't realize is whatever leaks, there's 2 holes in there. Depends on what side it leaks on. So if it leaks on the back side, it'll come out this hose onto the ground. Otherwise, it'll go back into the transmission. So you won't, you know, your head might be dropping slow, but your oil's saved. But see, I didn't realize how this whole thing works until I had this apart and went through that. And I did put a kit in, and all my seals look good. And then it still was leaking. And then I went, you know, because I did replace these bottom ones. And then I thought, well, let's check this top one. And then here it is. Here it is, just a chip out of that. This is all I had to do. Which I had O-rings here and stuff, so that would have took me less than a minute. And it's kind of frustrating, but I learned a lot. And then I thought I lost a lot more oil in that because, you know.
You were leaving a pretty good trail. We didn't show it on video, but when he'd go down the road or something, or in the yard area, you'd see.
That's how you guys knew where I was. You followed the trail.
Yeah.
It was kind of getting there where I was like, you know, you kind of feel bad, but you got to get done. But we only lost like 1.5 gallons, because what I was doing is I was trying to leave the head down as much as I could. But a few places you have to lift it, and then it's coming out pencil thick. The glory of owning machinery. Now with 2 choppers, it's twice as many things to look after. And boy, we got done quick. We really, you know, we had options anyway. So
yeah, there's a little update on Dad's fixing. I think he's feeling a little jealous that I'm doing some more fun fixing today.
Fun fixing, expensive fixing, but yeah. So you're not really into issues. It's just
nice to have stuff.
It's like restore it a bit. And and do it now while you got time. Mm-hmm. You know, you start getting more into farming, you're gonna be, you know, and your kids and stuff, you're gonna be swamped. Before you know it, it's like, and then the tractor's 20 more years older and nobody makes it anymore, or whatever the case.
Yeah, the paint looks too nice to not put some other nice stuff on it as well.
Yeah, keep it up, because it'll hold value. It'll never, the value of this machine, my guess is when you get to be my age, this machine will be worth, the dollar amount will be double what you paid for it. But them dollars will only buy what you bought here. Yeah. You know, so you're not losing money. I don't believe you'd ever lose.
That's the hope. That's the hope. But yeah, we should get back to our headliner here. We gotta keep this project going.
Shutting it off, and I'm playing around. I got a vice grip I put on that.
All right, I have the old headliner out, and I got the new one out of the box here. We're gonna try to keep it clean. I'm gonna take these speakers out, and then these clips I'm gonna transfer over as well. Gotta save some of that hardware to go into this new one. Now here comes the hard part, getting this into the cab without getting it dirty like we were talking. And now Dad left, so we're gonna have to figure out how to do this as a one-man show here. Maybe I go through the driver's door here. We'll see. We're gonna tiptoe around it. I don't wanna stain it already. It's kind of working. Man, you guys want to help hold something next time? Or even you two down here, instead of taking a nap? I know you'd probably try. You're pretty gung-ho about stuff. No, there ain't no room for you in there. Yeah. It's not the easiest. The struggle I'm having is there's a couple clips that help hook this on this front edge here. Those are going to be a bit challenging to get in there. They sent 4 width, and I seen there was only 2 in there, so see what we can get away with. I'm sure the HVAC controller helps hold everything up there, but let's struggle through this. All right, we are finished with the headliner project. What do you guys think? It looks pretty clean, doesn't it? It looks pretty sharp. Almost too sharp. The speakers and the plastics kind of look out of place now. I did smudge it up a little bit getting it in there, but it's going to get dirty eventually. I'm going to use this tractor. It's not just going to sit in a showroom somewhere. It really wasn't too difficult to install. As you guys seen, took out this back HVAC piece with these 3 knobs. 2 nuts over here to take out. Takes this little bracket. 3 screws here. Takes off a little bracket here. And then these 6 screws up here. Then the HVAC controller comes out. And then everything over here is just tucked in there. There's not really a bracket holding it. So once you get this side of the cab loose, you can bring it down and then kind of slide everything that way. Oh, I did have to take this little piece off too. This must be for cab light or something. A little push-in sensor for that. Super simple, super easy. And another part of it that was easy and simple was getting the headliner itself. I want to shout out Ross up at Allstate Ag Parts and the guys there for helping me get this headliner. Allstate Ag Parts up in Downey, Wisconsin. I believe they have locations all over the Midwest as well. They're awesome when it comes to finding aftermarket or OEM parts, especially your older tractors, but I do think they can get stuff for your newer stuff too. And farm equipment in general, they have a lot of different options and parts to pick from, and even if they don't have it, they can find it and hunt it down for you. They specialize in finding agriculture parts. So huge shout out to them. They made the process super simple and easy when it came to getting this headliner. They were a big reason why I was able to do this project, because if I had to hunt it down myself, it could have been a pain. So I will have their info down in the description, so check them out. But anyways, now we're going to move on to the lights, and if that goes as easy as this headliner, then I'm going to be a happy duck, that's for sure. Now to start off here, let's work on the harder lights, or at least I think they're going to be the harder lights. The front ones in the hood, those are going to be the ones that need to be a certain size. You know, lights like this, that ain't too big of a deal. You know, you can make a bracket like that work, but in the hood here, that's going to be pretty particular, I guess would be the way to say it. So let's see if we can get these out of here without hurting anything, in case we got to put them back in.
the same.
Oh yeah. Look at the difference between them. Can't wait to see that in the dark. Better shut that off before we drain the battery here. That's gonna be slick. Okay, we got the two fronts done. Now it's on to all the cab lights and the rear lights, which those I'll have to kind of figure out which one belongs to which, and hopefully the harnesses are easy to get to. Those fronts, that was super quick and easy. The only difference was we had a 7/16 socket for the old ones and a 10mm for the new ones, which makes sense because I'm pretty sure these cheapos were made overseas. So we'll see how long they hold up. Being their LEDs, I'm willing to bet that they might be made in the same place that the OEM or the high-end ones are made. So checking in here quick. So it's gone pretty well putting these two small ones in here. So we have 4 of the 10 put on already. I did have to shave the bracket down a little bit to get these to clear. Now they did send brackets with it. I didn't feel like tearing all these plastics apart here, and you know how that is on older equipment. Trying to put all that stuff back together sometimes isn't worth the hassle. So a little grinder here saved me a bunch of time. I had to do that on both sides just so it'd clear the housing of the light, but otherwise those are working real nice. They turn on. Now I'm going to move on to the ones up above. Hopefully those go even easier than these down here. Okay, we got all the front lights installed. This corner was a bit of a bear because the plug got lost in the hood, so I had to take the bolts off a corner of the hood and kind of bend it up enough just to fish that out of there, but we got her, and now we're moving on to the back, and Dad, he decided to help me out a little here, so might go a little quicker. Okay, I have all the lights installed. Some of them were easier than others, but they all were truly plug and play. All the plugs matched up. I had to change out the brackets on all of them except for those 2 down at waist level there at the front of the tractor. But very happy with how they look. You guys will just have to stay tuned for some work in the dark, possibly here during corn silage. Be on the lookout to check out how well this tractor lights up the field. It's going to be 5 to 10 times better than what was on there. That's without a doubt. Those LEDs make a huge difference. It's going to allow me to carry into the night a bit longer and utilize the time that I'm in the field a bit more efficiently. So that'll be really nice. The next project that I'm on to is making or adapting this magnet for my antenna for my CB. So now that I have that truck, I got a CB in there. This came with a CB, so I figured I'd keep that working, and any future equipment I have for my row crop operation, I think it'd be valuable to keep some CBs in them, being I already have 2 of them now. So especially between this and the truck, if I find a grain cart priced reasonably for this tractor, that'll work out pretty nice. But anyways, I gotta drill a bigger hole in this, and then our antenna that we currently have should bolt right onto that. There you have it. We got a new magnet installed on our little CB antenna. I'm gonna leave it off for now, especially if I have to do any work by a tree line. I got a place to slap a magnet on the back corner of the cab, so that'll be quick and easy. I noticed here, you dang flies, get out of my cab. I should have shut the door. all over my new headliner here. Get out of here. Shoot, shoot. Come on. Get. Gonna get it dirty. One of the last things I want to do is I want to do a little bit of painting, a little bit of touch up here. Nothing major, nothing crazy, but it's kind of an eyesore. So crawling in and out of the cab here, these steps got some rust on them. So we're gonna clean them up here and throw a little paint at them. I don't know if I have enough paint, but she'll get a little something today. Well, I'm gonna have to go look around for some more black paint because I know why this can is partially full. It's because the tip doesn't work on it. It's all gummed up. Yep, it's about typical. Well, it looks like that'll be another day's project. I found 2 other cans and they had the same ordeal. So I thought we had some black paint. I thought I left some here. Maybe somebody used it. Anyways, pretty happy still with what we got done with the Magnum today. All these just nice to have type items. Very happy I was able to get all this done today, especially those lights going into the fall as the days get shorter. That'll be very, very handy. Because you guys know as good as I do that things aren't going to happen exactly when we want them to happen, and if the weather isn't right, we're not gonna be able to get it all done in a timely manner during the daylight hours. So I'm gonna end off this video here. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for sticking to the end. Like I said, check out Allstate Ag Parts, and a huge shout out to Ross for hooking us up with that headliner. And it'll be interesting to see too with these lights. I did not buy them through them, but these are some cheap lights off of eBay. It'll be interesting to see how they perform and how long they last. That's the ticket, is how long they're gonna last. So make sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe. Check us out at GierokFarms.com, and we will see you all next time.